Back. Thank you for joining me. Yes, it's been a very long time. For those who've been following me, yes, there's supposed to be a part three. Part two just ended and it never continued. Had a lot of things that I had to do, a lot of current events that was happening along on YouTube and in my life personally that I really couldn't get on top of part three. But anyway, with no further ado, I'm going to continue part three, get it over with. This should be the final chapter. I'm going to try to do that, not be too long winded with it. And I'm basically just going to continue the interaction of Brandon and I had along with Dynas. And I'm just going to show you how these guys are, by their own admission, that they are hardcore Republicans. They vote red instead, no matter who. That's how they are. And they do a lot of gatekeeping and a lot of cover up for the Republican Party, right? And as black people, right, that's no good. We should be aligned to no one party. We should tell the truth when it comes to both parties, right? But these guys don't do that. So without further ado, let's get it.
Candidates do that.
Oh, no, they don't.
What are you talking about? All candidates say they're going to do something, and when it's time to show and prove, they don't do it. Just like Joe Biden said, hey, we need to, Black Lives Matter, and we need to stop the criminal thing of black people getting shot. And he's not doing shit about that.
Okay.
He's doing Asian bills. He's doing Afghan bills. That's what he's saying. That's not what he's doing.
Calm.
See, so right here, I'm saying all the things that Joe Biden is not doing, right? He's not saying one thing that President Trump should be doing. He's holding the Democratic Party only at a particular standard, a black standard for what could be done for black people. He's not holding that same standard for Republicans, because Republicans has no standard. They have no stance on helping black people at all, right? So I'm stating all the things, and he's, like I said before earlier, he's pretty much lying, or he's not thinking straight about how candidates promise something they don't do anything. Joe Biden was supposed to do the whole George Floyd Act, right? To help black people get justice in this country for being shot by cops, right? That bill died. That didn't happen. All the things that Joe Biden said he's going to do so far, he ain't doing. He's not doing it at all, right? But he's doing things with the Asian hate bill, the Afghans, and all that other stuff. He's doing all that stuff for other groups, but he's not doing it for black people. Same thing like Donald Trump. Donald Trump he was total opposite. Donald Trump was just banning people. He was banning Muslims, right? Black people are Muslims, right? So unfortunately, you got Africans that are Muslim, right? And it will be considered a Muslim country, right? So Donald Trump was hurting people in that regard, right? So I'm gonna let him continue.
Now, listen, I voted for Trump because of Trump's policies when it came to the exporting of American jobs. I voted for Trump because of Trump's policies that impacted the environment. The Democrats, Obama, went after the oil companies and stuff. And one of the main reasons was I have a lot of friends who went to prison. And when they got out of prison, they went to work at the oil refineries here in Long Beach, in Torrance, out in Dakota, the pipeline, and all those different places. I have friends, including my brother-in-law, who was working out there until Biden shut it all down. So being energy independent, which we were under Trump, I really like.
So what he's saying, he has a good point there when it comes to, hey, look, you gotta look, hey, I voted for this guy because of that. So I'm going to answer this. This is his perspective. This is why he has a reason to vote for them, right? Now, all jobs being exported has nothing to do with Biden, has nothing to do with Trump. It has to do with private corporations, and if the government is going to hold them accountable or put like tariffs and other things, or in the opposite, do things to help black businesses stay here, like give him a little tax cut, give him a little tax break, or something like that. Some type of incentive, even though corporations already get enough tax breaks, so that's probably a bad idea. Even though there's some kind of incentive to help keep black, well, not black business, just business as a whole here, right? So it has nothing to do with that. Trump himself said, well, yeah, I have companies and stuff like that that make my clothing, his wife's clothing, and his daughter's clothing, Ivanka Trump, and all of them. Yeah, because I took advantage of the tax breaks that was being given to me. So what he's saying, again, is disingenuous. Now, not everybody works, or the oil industry is very small. So how is, like I said, everyone is voting for their own particular interest, but at the same time, when you think of it as a whole, it's selfish because the majority of people don't work in in dirty energy like coal and gas, right? That industry is small in comparison to all the other industries that black people work in, right? So, but be honest about it, right? I go fishing. I was fishing with this older gentleman, wanted to be my father. He's like in his 70s, and we were talking, and he was saying how, hey, look, he's from North Carolina, and he pretty much born and raised in North Carolina, as long as he knows, and came up to New York or whatever, stuff like that, because he had a job working in the oil industry and things like that. Believe it was mobile. Yes, it was mobile. And he's like, hey, look, during certain administrations and things like that, like Reagan, Reagan was no good and things like that. He was like, look, he looked at his interest. He's like, look, I looked at Ronald Reagan. He wasn't for black people. He wasn't helping black people out. And I said, okay, well, I work in the oil industry. How is he going to affect my economics? Or I'm sorry, it could have been Reagan or Clinton. Forgive me. I'm not too sure. But he was like, well, hey, look, how is he with economics? Oh, wow, he's for the oil industry. That impacts me. Okay, so I understand that. But at least he was honest in saying that, hey, look, this guy doesn't care. This president doesn't care about black people. He's not doing anything for black people, right? But hey, look, he's doing something in this particular industry that benefits me. Okay, let me vote for him in that regard. I disagree with that, but I can understand why he did that, right? So this whole thing, well, hey, look, even though everybody else is going to suffer and doesn't really impact black people, right, at all, I'm going to vote in my own interests against the interests of the collective. Yeah, like I said, I understand, but understand at the same time, you're being selfish.
I knew that would open up a lot of jobs for all these black men who go to work in those fields. And I know you know some people working in the oil industry that are black, or at least who.
No, I don't. Like I mentioned, the gentleman that I'm talking about, met him like a month ago. I don't know anybody in the oil industry. He's thinking because of this, like this in his neck of the woods, is like that everywhere else. I don't know anybody who works in the oil industry as long as I've been living. You know what I'm saying? I'm not that old, but being in the world and of the world, I don't know anybody specifically who works with that. They got more black people working in healthcare. No matter where you go, you can find a black person who's in the medical field. You're gonna find a black person who does accounting. You're gonna find a black person who does law. You're gonna find a black person who's in security. In insurance. You're gonna find a lot of black. Those industries are more commonplace. You will find the majority of people, including black people, not the oil industry.
Were working there until Biden got them all fired. So Trump, and then also direct. What you say?
I said again, that's not true. The reason why Trump is for oil refinement, I understand. Like,
wait a minute, bro. You asked the question. Wait a minute.
Yeah, once again, he's saying Biden got them all fired. Joe Biden is not the president of all American companies. That makes absolutely no sense. Joe Biden is not the president of ExxonMobil, Texaco, and all these other companies, right? The thing that he doesn't know or understand that all these oil companies have their own international organization, and they're the ones who determine what the oil price is going to be. Of course, certain governments could be like, "Hey, wow, that's a little too much," and stuff like that. They could, try to appeal to them, but no president, especially the president of the United States, doesn't govern the oil prices directly in that way. To say, well, oh, okay, um, even when it comes to gas, oil and gas in this country. Oh, you know what? I don't care who's in charge of the oil and gas company in Texas or in California where those oil fields. I'm the president. You need to fire those people. That's idiotic, and he knows that. But he's trying to get Republican brownie points.
You ask me a question. You don't got to explain away. That's not true. This is the reality, bro. You can believe what you want. You also said some other shit that was not true, and we proved that to be wrong. But I digress.
Psych. That's why I'm laughing at him, and we all know that I proved him wrong already in the first two parts of my last videos.
Listen, the first day Biden got in office, the oil industry lost 11,000 jobs.
Why?
Because I know black people are the last hired and the first fired. I can guess who the majority of those jobs were taken from. Black.
Answer the question. Why? Why, when Biden became the president, if what he's saying is true, right? But I'm going to give him that. If what he's saying is true, when most of the shit he's saying is not true, he's just going off the cuff, or it's just a retarded Republican talking point you heard from Fox News, Laura Ingraham, or one of these talking heads, or Sean Hannity, or you know what I'm saying. Even if that's true, the reason why he wouldn't answer it, the reason why I would say that's true, because Biden was not 100% in on dirty energy, which will be gas and coal. He was like, hey, look, we need to wean off of petroleum eventually and think of new ways of energy because of what's happening to the environment. All other countries are into wind energy and solar energy and all these other things, and us, we don't want to get left behind. And these new industries would create jobs because it's a new industry, right? All these industries will create jobs in solar and wind power, right? So it's also creating jobs, right? That's why, if what he's saying is true, which is a possibility, I'll be surprised if it was even more people than what he's saying, more than 11,000. But that's the reality of it.
People. Trump wanted energy independence,
and it's not black people. Again, he's assuming that everybody, and he's not giving up stats or proof. He's assuming that everybody in the United States that's black knows at least one person that's in the oil industry. That's like me saying, oh, every black person in the United States knows someone who's an archaeologist, or an astrophysicist. What? Not saying that people may not know them, but it's not a job that you find that's commonplace. So again, he's either being maliciously stupid or he's just uninformed as usual.
What I feel is best for America.
That's
Trump
not true. Whoa, where you get your news, yo? Wow.
Let me finish, man. Trump got us to energy independence. This is why the minute when Biden stepped into office and shut down everything Trump did, we were having gasoline shortages, right? So my point is this. Trump's also stopped regulation.
That's, again, not true.
I don't like regulation. I'm against regulation. Why? Because what white people do is they get rich off because of Trump's policy.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I had to bring it back. You're not going crazy. I had to rewind it back a little bit.
When it came to the exporting of American jobs, I voted for Trump because of Trump's policies that impacted the environment. The Democrats, Obama went after.
Trump, like I said before, Trump doesn't give a fuck about the environment. Trump is invested in coal and dirty energy. He's invested in the coal industry and the oil industry. That's why when he was voted in, the oil industry was happy. Him having Rex Tillerson there as his Secretary of State is a freaking joke. Everyone know what Trump was about.
After the oil companies and stuff. And one of the main reasons was I have a lot of friends who went to prison. And when they got out of prison, they went to work at the oil refineries here in Long Beach, in Torrance, out in Dakota, the pipeline, and all those different places. I have friends, including my brother-in-law, who was working out there until Biden shut it all down. So when Trump started talking about being energy independent, which we were under Trump, I really liked that. I knew that would open up a lot of jobs for all these black men who go to work in those.
Like I said, Trump never spoke about energy independency. Trump's equivalent to energy independence. This is how stupid Trump is. And the people like him is being dishonest because they know Trump is a dumbass. I've seen a lot of Republicans that say, hey, look, he's not the most articulate, smart person, but I like what he stands for. Trump says you could clean the coal. You could just take the coal off and clean the coal and clean the coal, and it will be clean coal. Then it will make coal clean because you could just clean it off. That's how idiotic Trump is. But I'm a person who likes to show and prove. So here we go. Here is Trump's idea of what clean energy is, according to Brandon. He's trying to bring us back into clean energy. This is Trump's ideology of what clean energy is, right? I'll play the video for you.
Coal is coming back. Clean coal is coming back. 100%. What the EPA has done to our energy and done to our coal industry is ridiculous. We sell coal. The coal mines are dying. But the only coal we give is coal to China. Do you think they clean the coal? Believe me, they don't. Donald Trump.
Do they clean the coal? Coal? How you clean coal? This guy is a fucking moron. And people know that back him up, knows he's a fucking moron. If they don't know, they're idiots as well. Like I said, at least there's Republicans that are honest, say, well, he's not the, the smartest guy, whatever, but I like what he stands for. At least I can respect that. This guy is an idiot.
Trump loves clean coal. I love clean coal. Obama has decimated the coal industry, decimated it. And we're going to bring the coal industry back, folks. We're going to bring it back. We're sending our coal over to China, and they're using our coal, but we can't use it. They're not cleaning our coal. They're putting it out any way they want.
The lies this man tells like in a row is like a machine gun. We can't use our coal, but China could use their coal. So we're mining coal for China. All this is just stupid.
Somebody that believes in clean coal. If you look at what's happened to your coal industry, folks, we're going to bring it back, okay? We're going to bring it back, clean coal. We are going to lift the restrictions on shale, oil, natural gas, clean coal, and oil.
Now, does that sound familiar? All Brandon is a big parrot for Donald Trump, right? With no proof, no evidence. He believes what Donald Trump says, hook, line, and sinker. He said the same exact thing. We're going to get rid of rules. Restrictions and rules are there for a reason. It's not to prevent other people on the come up. He doesn't understand the history of the EPA. He doesn't understand why these government organizations are put there for. It's for the safety of the company. Government's job is to protect its people. That's its job. It's not to regulate its people so other people will get rich. Not saying that doesn't happen, but these organizations in its inception is to help and regulate anything harmful done to the American people.
All forms of job producing American energy.
There is a thing called clean coal. Coal will last for 1,000 years in this country.
We've ended the war on beautiful, clean coal, and it's just been announced that a second brand new coal mine where they're going to take out clean coal, meaning they're taking out coal, they're going to clean it, is opening in the state of Pennsylvania.
They're taking the coal out and they're cleaning it. So they take the coal out. He said they're taking the coal out and they're cleaning it so it could be clean energy. This guy's an idiot, or he thinks his constituents are idiots to say something like that over and over again with a straight face. Like the only people that's more stupid than a Trump supporter than Trump is a Trump supporter that believes things that he says like this. No right person in their right mind would think something like this, right? So I'm going. This is the article you see right here, right? And no one can say that. Oh, he didn't say that, or I'm taking what he's saying out of context, because there's no way that's happening. After if you follow him on a campaign trail and you see him saying this all the time and explaining it, right? So, these are just all the comments they're mentioning about what he said in the video, right? But this is my favorite one. I know Republicans don't like science. They hate science. They hate Fauci. They hate Neil deGrasse Tyson. Anyone that has a MD or a PhD at the end of their name, they don't like, right? So, right here. It says his comments puzzle scientists and people with an understanding of how coal mining works. He clearly doesn't know what he's talking about, said Peter Tanz, the lead scientist of the Global Greenhouse Gas Reference Network of the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration in Boulder, Colorado. It sounds like he thinks that they're going to wash the coal. He's going to wash the coal, Trans told ABC News. It doesn't make any sense. He added the concept of clean coal is industry propaganda, and that's all that it is, and that's all that Republicans do, because most of them cannot think for themselves, because Donald Trump got their hand up their ass, and they just repeat whatever Donald Trump says. You know what I'm saying? I was saying it's not the first time Trump referred to clean coal in his speech, and is going to give you all these other things about clean coal. So this is what Trump's ideology of according to Brandon, of what he means by, he's going into different energy, clean energy, and he was doing that, which is a lie. He cannot prove one thing that Trump is doing for alternative energy to get away from dirty energy.
We're having gasoline shortages, right? So my point is this. Trump's also stopped regulation. I don't like regulation. I'm against regulation. Why? Because what white people do is they get rich off of something, and then to keep you from getting rich off of it, they try to regulate it. So you can never do the things that they were doing when they gained billions and became generationally wealthy. So they put a regulation to prevent you from being able to compete with them. So when Trump was like, we're deregulating that, I'm letting y'all frack, I'm letting y'all drill out in Anwar, all that, I was down for that, because I believe that global warming.
Yeah, so he has no idea of what government organizations are for. This is extremely, conspiratorial. The government does do some shady things and stuff like that to give people, certain of their own people a leg up. But I'm not sure if he was saying when it comes to black people or people as a whole, but things, government organizations that do regulations like the FDA, DOT, Department of Transportation, right, and the EPA, in their inception, it has to do with safety. They have to regulate certain things due to public safety. So obviously he doesn't understand what these organizations for and how they came about. But once again, we're going to have to educate him. Republicans, they don't really know too much. Anything that's fear mongering or saying that, hey, they're going to get you because of this and all this other stuff. So I'm going to show you what the EPA is for, because in the video that I just showed you, Donald Trump was talking against the EPA and people who regulate the oil industry, because he said a lot of things about the oil industry that is totally incorrect as far as like prices going up and things like that. So here we are, we're at the EPA government site. The EPA is the government, and this is the government site. So we're going to go to the origins of the EPA, right? And we're going to read its origins. The American Conservation about protecting the environment began in the 1960s. Rachel Carson, it's a white woman. It's a white woman. You can look for yourself. Rachel Carson had published her attack on the indiscriminate use of pesticides in her book, obviously Silent Spring, in 1962. Concern about air and water pollution had spread in the wake of disaster. An offshore oil rig in California fouled beaches with millions of gallons of oil, of spilled oil. Stop. So all his conspiratorial nonsense that the EPA was created to stop other people from getting rich is bullshit. Makes no sense. If you're a person in California or Texas and you have land and this has happened and you struck oil, oh well, you struck oil. That is your claim, right? It's not going to say, because there was no rule then or now saying, if it's 100% legally your property, you can't have that oil, or they're gonna, or something crazy like, they're gonna regulate you from selling your oil. And we're gonna get to that soon, but I'm gonna keep on reading. So already it just falls on the head, because he's repeating an asshole like Donald Trump saying why he doesn't like oil, right? But according to Brandon, he's saying it's conspiratorial. That's the whole reason. And we could clearly see here that it's not. It had to do with public safety. And I'll keep on reading, right? Of oil spill near Cleveland, Ohio. I'm not going to try to read that. It sounds Native America. The river, choking with chemical contaminants, had spontaneously burst into flames. Astronauts had begun photographing the Earth from space, heightening awareness that the Earth's resources are finite. Right? They're finite. In the early 70s, as a result of heightened public concerns about distorting city air, natural areas littered with debris, and urban water supplies contaminated with dangerous impurities, President Richard Nixon presented the House and Senate groundbreaking 37-point message on the environment. These points included requesting $4 billion for the improvement of water treatment facilities, asking national air quality standards and stringent guidelines to lower motor vehicle emissions. Now, we all know, if anyone has any common sense, right, when you go get your car inspected, right, it has to pass the emissions test for safety, right? It's for safety. And so, if your catalytic converter, is all broken and stuff like that, you be putting more smog and air into it, right? Because each vehicle has to pass an emissions test. Where's the hustle? Where's the scam? Where's the conspiracy? All this has to do with safety. All has to do with safety, right? And just go to the site, and you could just read up more for yourself, because I'm trying to knock this out, but I already proven wrong why he's a why he keeps saying it's a conspiracy and people could frack and stuff like that. Fracking is an issue because fracking does what? It causes issues and it destroys the environment. It's potential destroying the environment, just like the Keystone Pipeline, right? They had a lot of people going through Native American land, was one thing the Native people there were fighting, right? And guess what happened later on down the line? It leaked, and it goes into the only natural sources of resource of water that they have there, right? That's the only source of water. So if it spills, then they don't have any drinking water and things like that. So it's catastrophic. So all the EPA does is regulate the air that you freaking breathe, right? That's all that it does. So they don't want you fracking all over. Donald Trump almost said he wanted fracking like in Yellowstone. And he's like, yeah, let's frack in Yellowstone. Yellowstone is a natural wonder. People don't want, why are you going to frack in Yellowstone if something goes wrong, right? And oil spills, you're going to, a lot of the natural wildlife and the ecosystem there would be all thrown off balance, right? But once again, he's an idiot, and the people that are following him are even more stupid. Another government organization that Brandon is totally not aware of because he told several lies about Biden setting the market price directly for oil companies. So what we this organization, it's a government, it's a government organization, but not by the United States. It's called OPEC. OPEC is a global organization for all the countries that have oil, right? So what I'm going to do, right? This is a government site, as you can see, right? Let's go through this. And just go to their mission statement, right? So what's their mission statement? In accordance with its statute, the mission of the organization, the petroleum exporting countries, is to coordinate and unify the petroleum policies of its member countries and ensure the stabilization of oil markets in order to secure an efficient, economic, and regular supply of petroleum to customers. Not Joe Biden, not Obama, not Bill Clinton, not George Bush. Jeez. A steady income to produce and a fair return on capital for those investing in the petroleum industry. So that's like Donald Trump. That could be the Clintons. That's definitely on Manchin. You know, you could invest in it. And these are just people who are investing within the oil company. But I'm talking about the countries, right, that produce oil. They came together and they made OPEC, right? So they could all be on one accord to see what to tell you what the market price value is going to be, right? So let's go a little brief history here, right? You can see it pretty much started in the 60s and things like that here. Just give you guys to just look at it real quick if you want to. All right. But what I'm more concerned about right now, start from the 60s onward and, to the 2000s. But what I'm a little bit more interested are the member countries. Oh, I didn't do the member countries. My fault. So what are the member countries? And the United States is not part of OPEC. They're not. So this President Biden did this, and that's why it's horseshit, right? So member countries. The Organization of the Petroleum Exporting, which is OPEC, whatever, was founded in Baghdad, Iraq, with the signing of an agreement in September 1960 by 5 countries, namely Islamic Republic of Iran, Iraq, Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, and Venezuela. They were to become the founder members of the organization. These countries were later joined by Qatar, Indonesia, Libya, United Emirates, Algeria, Nigeria, Ecuador, Gabon, Angola, Equatorial Guinea, and Congo. Right? So that's what we're doing right now with OPEC. Right? That's who they are. So he does not know what he's talking about at all. Right? He doesn't like regulation. So he doesn't like safety. Right? He doesn't like safety. And I will say he's uninformed about how the oil industry works. It's not, the United States has nothing to do with OPEC because the United States, as we know, is not a major producer of oil right? That's why we're all up in the business of so-called Middle East. That's why we're in Africa, right? The United States even tried to did a coup in Equatorial Guinea one time because they didn't like what President Obiang was doing to the price that he was offering. So the United States tried to do a coup. You know, come on, we gotta do better, people. How emotional he got because I cursed out Trump. What black man gets mad at another black man for cursing out a president? There has been no president that's been in solidarity with black people as a whole. Some people may say JFK, but JFK, I don't agree with that wholeheartedly. There's no president that a black man should be defending against another black man. So already Brandon, he already lied in his broadcast saying, oh, it doesn't matter. I don't care if you're a Democrat or a Republican, as what is your policies and what are you offering black people, right? So he already lied to you because he's getting upset because I'm calling Trump a fucking idiot, and he's a fucking idiot. And what we have proven this. And like I said, the only people that are more stupid than Donald Trump are his followers because they gobble up all the nonsense things that he said. So here's a video of him saying that windmills give you cancer. Because why? He is for the oil industry. That's why he's talking about you could clean coal, and once you clean the coal and once you burn it, that's clean energy. He's an idiot. But for those that don't know, for those of you that don't know about this, right? Like I said, I'm going to show and prove. And here's the video of Trump saying windmills give you cancer.
So we've ended the war on American energy. The United States is now the #1 producer of oil and natural gas anywhere in the world, and that all happened over the last 2 years. Big difference.
That's a lie. The United States is not the #1 in gas at all. And we already discussed that because they're not even a part of OPEC, right? They're not even a part of OPEC, so he's lying.
Hillary wanted to put up wind. If you have a windmill anywhere near your house, congratulations. Your house just went down 75% in value. And they say the noise causes cancer. You told me that one, okay? The thing makes it so... And of course, it's like a graveyard for birds. If you love birds, you'd never want to walk under a windmill because it's a very sad sight. It's like a cemetery. We put a little statue for the poor birds. It's true. In California, if you shoot a bald eagle, they put you in jail for 5 years.
Okay, that's enough of his nonsense. I'm losing brain cells talking to him. No, that's the whole thing about the birds. That's also not true. There's not a whole bunch of dead birds at the foot of a windmill. But once again, I'm showing and proving that Donald Trump is a certified dumbass, right? So it's not me saying this because he may think I'm a diehard Democrat. This is me saying this because I have eyes and ears, and I don't have a love for a white man that don't care about black people. That's not me. I don't want to hug on Donald Trump. You probably saw Donald Trump. He would probably get all giddy like a bitch, like, it's Donald Trump, and want to kiss him and hug him. You know what I'm saying? This is bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Come on. Be real with people. If you like Donald Trump, you love Donald Trump, and stuff like that, say that. Don't be two-faced. Say that in one instance, and then the other instance when people saying that you're a Trump supporter, and you say, well, no, I just like the policies. You're full of shit. Like, give me a break.
Idiot. He will say the most stupidest things, but if you don't believe in science, you will say anything and people will believe it.
Are you gonna make
thing?
Critic, are you gonna make some point based on facts, or are you just gonna insult Trump? Because if that's the case, I brought my father-in-law who works right now in Egypt. He is an advisor for oil companies around the world. I brought him on here. You didn't watch my show. I brought him on here. And one of the biggest points he made was this. He said, Biden stopping oil production in the United States is not going to do nothing. That's just giving those jobs to other countries overseas. He said, it's actually going to increase global warming because those countries where we're sending the jobs to, they don't enforce environmental laws the way.
That makes no sense. Again, the United States is not a part of OPEC, and they don't make the policy as far as how much you're going to charge oil. They don't go in there and strong arm any CEO that's producing oil here. We don't make that much oil in the United States, right? So how do you send oil jobs, right? If you go to California and Texas, how do you send that job to another country when the oil rigs is in the United States? That makes no sense. That makes no sense, right? So someone tell me how that makes sense. Explain that to me. That makes no sense. So whatever his father-in-law is saying, and the smoking gun is his father is in Egypt. Why his father-in-law is not here? He's saying father-in-law works on this. So why he didn't tell him about OPEC? Why he didn't tell him about all these countries, right, that came together and made that organization that determined the pricing of it, right? So he want to talk about all these other countries that, well, hey, they may not do this, they may not do that, and and we're gonna get to that soon. But it has to do with the Paris Climate Accord, right? It has to do with the Paris Climate Accord. So there's been an effort in the world to regulate emissions, right? But like I said, the oil company, that hurts the oil company because green energy and going with the energy that's not fossil fuel energy hurts their bottom line, which is the job of OPEC is to maximize profit. That's the point for all companies and businesses is to maximize profit. Do what you can to maximize profit, and green energy is like the kryptonite for all industries. But I'm gonna let him continue.
Hey, we do. So this guy's been in the oil industry 40 years telling you that. He also said, look, Brandon, you know those nice little electric cars people like to zip around? To make the batteries for those, you need oil. You need raw coal to do that. So a guy who was in the industry.
What? No. Like, no, okay. I'm not a world-class chemist, but we do use oil, right, to make certain things like plastic, right? A lot of plastics, all plastics is made out of oil, is oil-based. But to say that plastic, right, not to get rid of oil and to keep pumping carbon dioxide in the air because it's equivalent to making plastic is fucking stupid, right? Like I said, I'm not a chemist, but I know making plastic, right, and even right now they're even regulating like how much plastic you can make because with the whole thing with straws, right? They now even have paper straws. So with certain things that you need plastic, they make oil with it, right? They make plastic out of oil, right? So this makes no sense. This is a false comparison, as he always does, because why? His audience doesn't really know anything, or they let him just rock and say it, or they don't want to be in a pain in the ass like me and challenge him on his bullshit. You know, so for him to make that false analogy makes no sense.
Right? The guy who was in the industry explained how this thing by Biden was just a ploy so that Biden could pander to Middle Eastern countries the way Obama did when he gave them a pallet full of money, billions of dollars, and just dropped it off like, you guys go take this. So what
y'all saw my if you saw my other videos, I already proved to you that this is the job of the American president. He wants to split that. No, it's a party. This thing that's done by, it's a party agenda. Well, this is a Republican agenda. This is a Democratic agenda. even though they have certain agendas, they always have the same agenda. Is because America is a company, right? And as the company, as I just said, is to maximize profit. Again, United States is not a part of OPEC. They don't produce that much oil. So of course they have to go over and pander to the Middle Eastern countries. He's stepping on his own toes. He's stepping on his own toes. If the United States is making all this money and all these things, why they gotta go to pander to the Middle Eastern countries? Middle Eastern, you don't have Iraq and Kuwait going to Venezuela or Africa saying, "Ooh, can we get some of your oil too? Oh, how much is it a barrel?" No, we got our own. Why am I delegating with you like that? You know what I'm saying? But it's not. They're not America. So he's undermining again his own point.
What you don't understand is the Democratic Party does things to make deals because they're bought out by other countries. That's okay. I don't care about that. But what they do hurts our people. You pretending to care about the environment while black men are losing $100,000 a year jobs. I don't play those games. If we're going to pollute, let us pollute so we can get the money. Don't say we're going to go green, but they're really just sending the jobs to somebody else in another country. I don't play.
How do you send how do you send a mining job or a fracking job in the United States to another country? That makes no fucking sense. They dig up the whole mine and they dig up the oil reserve that they find onshore and offshore and they take it to another country? That makes no sense. That makes this dude is in his emotions because he's not a stupid dude. He has I don't know. I don't know. That's what I'm saying. He's a walking conundrum. He's a walking conundrum. I don't know how someone could be so smart but so stupid. It's like Ben Carson. It's like a smart idiot. This whole thing makes no sense.
Like that, Black Critic. I'm sorry.
Can I respond to that? Because you said a lot of things that's in error.
20 seconds.
Number one, I don't know who this person is or whatever, right? You just said science is fake and you on some conspiracy stuff. So that's out the window. You said, didn't you or did you not say that the government is using climate change as a ploy to work against?
Never said it was fake.
Wow. Okay. Anyway, the second thing you said that was false. That he said that.
At least the Native American brother knows what's going on. You know what I'm saying? At least he's the one that challenged him and said that climate change is not a joke. You heard what Brandon said. You know what I'm saying? Something is something that's not real, something that's fake that they use as a ploy. Like, come on.
Donald Trump, there's something called the Paris Climate Accord. Donald Trump was against the Paris Climate Accord. Donald Trump was for, so even if he was to send all the jobs overseas, which he's also guilty of that because him and Ivanka Trump, all this shit that they make is fucking made in another country. Hypocrisy. So anyway, so even if he was to send all the jobs, all jobs overseas, right? And Donald Trump was about clean energy, like how you said, he would have been a part of the Paris Climate Accord. All major countries were a part of the Paris Climate Accord. The only person that didn't want to be a part of it was Trump. So what are you talking about?
Okay, so hold on, guys, because we got to move on. But let me just explain something to you, because clearly you guys aren't educated, so I got to educate you. Okay, Trump pulled out of the Paris Climate Accord for one reason. Paris Climate Accord allowed the number one polluter in the world, China, to continue to pollute while trying to put restrictions on America's ability to pollute, right?
No, wrong. Is an article by Vox that says Trump is pulling the U.S. out of the Paris Climate Agreement. Some men just want to watch the world burn. And this is what they mean by this, right? The Paris Climate Accord is not perfect. It was a start. And they had, like I said, I'm trying to cut down on the time. And a lot of scientists says it needs to go a little bit further, right? So in this, I'm going to go straight here. You can see right here, in order to fulfill my solemn duty, that's basically what Trump was saying in the Rose Garden while he pulled out the Paris Climate Accord. So right here it says the withdrawal process takes 4 years. So we withdraw around the time of 2020 election, but when it's complete, the United States will join a lonely club. Just 2 other countries, Syria and Nicaragua, have rejected the non-binding agreement, right? The U.S. is the second largest emitter of greenhouse gases. We're the second largest, right behind China. The decision to leave the agreement is a message to the world. We'll take the lead on contributing to the problem, but not fixing it, right? Trump actually could have gone further. He did not say he was taking the U.S. out of the underlying United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, a global agreement that predates the Paris Treaty. Leaving that would mean abandoning all international cooperative efforts on climate change. The Rose Garden, Trump said he cares deeply about the environment, but this move shows quite the opposite. And these are all the reason, why the Paris Climate Accord was created. You can read that while I give my little commentary. So basically, if China is number one, right, and they making some half measure of decreasing their CO2 emissions, us pulling out of it 100% is it's stupid. How can you care about the climate of the earth and everything, and just pull out of, well, you know what? It's unfair that China is. I don't agree with how much they have to cut down compared to us. So no deal at all. That's it. We're gonna keep on polluting 100%. China could keep. They could keep bring down their pollutants to like 40 or percent, whatever. While we don't have to do it because we don't like the deal. That's idiotic, right? It's not a business deal. He thinks he's a business. It's a business deal. It's not a business deal. It's like, hey, look, we're destroying the planet day by day, and we have to cut down the rising CO2 emissions. It's not something that could be put on hold until you come to an agreement, right? At least you could have did like, okay, I don't like the amount that China is pulling out. Okay, until we can reach an agreement, we're gonna cut down on our emissions to the same percentage as how China is. But I want China, since China's number one leader in pollutants, until we get there, we're at least going to do at least the bare minimum what China does. Or if you want to stick a middle finger to China and say, to them and see and make them look bad, he said, okay, for argument's sake, let's say China said, oh, we're going to cut down to 40% by the end of 4 years. Trump could have said, well, oh, really? We're going to do 45 in 4 years. So we're more serious about you, and make them look stupid. But Trump is stupid, so he doesn't think like that, right? So this is what Brandon doesn't seem to understand, why the whole Paris Climate Accord is about.
And they won't let us pollute. That was going to impact Americans' productive capabilities, which was going to hurt our country because Trump was making the companies that make stuff overseas, he wanted to try to tax them to bring stuff back in. When people revealed that Trump had those factories in Mexico making his suits and stuff, Trump just shut those factories down and moved them to America. So, man, that is true. Everything you don't even know. Talking about something not true. You're not good at listen. You're not.
I don't know. We have proved the only person that don't know is him. But I don't know, right? So once again, I'm Mr. Show and Prove, and he's Mr. Just yap at the mouth and kiss Trump's ass, right? So I'm gonna show and prove. There we go again. CNBC. Buy American? Trump makes over $1 million from stores that sell products with foreign or unknown origins. Right? So this is this is an article right here. That's a store, they say, on Fifth Avenue. And the article states, President Donald Trump has made close to $1.5 million in income over the past 3 years. Oh, so before I read forward, you can see the article, right? You can see that when it was published and when it was updated, right? Same thing, same thing, pretty much, right? They probably corrected a little mistake there, right? So this is like 2 years ago, right? So this is the latest news, right? From a retail store owned by the company he founded to financial disclosure records received by CNBC. While dozens of Trump's brand products sold by the store are listed as having been made in the United States, it's a sizable chunk are made in foreign countries or are from an unknown origin, which would appear to run contrary to the president's Buy American agenda. As of Friday, there are currently over 100 products under the Made in America, quote unquote, collection on the online Trump store, where they are marked as either Made in America or Made in the USA, according to CNBC Review. Yet, at least another 180 items that CNBC reviewed are labeled as having been made in Scotland, France, or Italy, are labeled as decorated in the USA, or have no country of origin listed at all. So unless there's an article I don't know about that he moved all these things. Let's say what Brandon said is correct, right? If Trump had any integrity, like how he's trying to pretend that he did, he would have took all those things off his clothing line that were made in another country and be selling American, right? Because all those profits he's gonna have is gonna go to all those places overseas that made his clothing line. So, but yeah, he's not gonna do that. I just thought that was something just fun to just mention. So again, Brandon is wrong. I don't know anything, but here we are again, proving him wrong. That he's just a Trump fanboy. That's all that it is. Brandon's just a Trump fanboy.
That is true. Everything you don't even know talking about something not true. You're not gonna listen. You're not talking to your cousin at the barbershop. I'm smarter than you, and I do more research than you. I argue this shit all day online.
He's smarter than me, and he does more research than me. He can't even say my name right. He can't even read basic English. He calls me the black critic when it's the black critique. But he reads and he researches, and he's smarter than me after he's saying all these fallacies. He's confusing white ass kissing admiration for Donald Trump as being intelligent. If that's what intelligence is, yes, he is smarter than me. You know what I'm saying? He is extremely smarter than me. This is a joke. This is a joke. He reached us. I don't know what his audience is that he said he talks about this online. He fights this online every day. So if he's checkmating those people are stupider than him, obviously.
I make sure my facts are straight. We got to move on. Let's go back to Arca.
Yeah, so not a good look for him. Like I said, despite of everything that I've said about him, right? He's a cool guy. He's a good brother when it comes to other things, but that's why I say he's a walking conundrum. You know what I'm saying? He's pro-black, but then he sides with anti-black ideologies politically, right? And that's his problem. Everything that he says, hey, look, you know what I'm saying? When it's not politics, he's good. He's all good and stuff like that. Anytime he gives any political commentary, y'all please check it. Please do check it, because he's pulling out of his ass, or he's just following what Donald Trump says or what a Republican says, which are not the brightest people in the world. And that's an actual poll. Do you have more Democrats or have more education than Republicans? You go Google that.
But collectively, and even with Hispanics and everybody else, Native Americans, all the minorities had to kind of come together to sue for certain things. But we can't get into that. That's another topic. But we will do a show on that. Let me go back to Arca. Go ahead, bro. Explain to us why we still should vote for the Democrats, even though they ain't doing nothing for us.
Yeah, I just want to say, man, you know, I subscribed. I found your channel last week, you know, but you was making fun of Dan Calloway. Man, that shit made my fucking day. And I already listened to you on Dynast, you know what I'm saying? So, like, 90% of the things that you kick, I'm in agreement with. I'm a subscriber. Yeah, hold up, but check it out. Your politics, though. Your politics, brother. Now, this should be about us. We.
You see, so even he knows. Taharka knows. Taharka and I on this podcast was the only one really taking him to task on all the shit that he was saying. Because, like we're saying, he's not a bad guy at all, right? Most of the things that he says is 100, but his politics is so ass backwards, and his admiration is extremely sadly misplaced. And that's the weird thing. Now, I'm not saying that we all have to be in 100% agreement. I'm not saying that, but something like this is, to me, I find him very interesting. To me, I see him as a lab rat because I'm trying to understand how someone is pro black in every stance except for politically. So he's like a walking experiment right now, and I'm trying to see how how it turns out, what the results are going to be. But Brother Taharka is absolutely right.
Not about, and you made the statement, you're not trying to make Donald Trump a savior, you know, but you the damn near built him up as Donald Luther King for giving money to black HBCUs, you know what I'm saying? And
Exactly. He's kissing Donald Trump's ass. Remember, he said he voted for Donald Trump because he didn't like Hillary Clinton, right? I didn't vote for either one of them because they were both a bad deal, especially Donald Trump. So Donald Trump is racist. Hillary Clinton is racist. So he voted. So him saying, going to rooftops right now saying, hey, but Donald Trump gave all this money to black people. He did not know that was going to happen at all. Because he voted for Donald Trump during the first election. Donald Trump made no promises to black people the first election.
I'm like, hold up.
He's doing what he's supposed to do. I'm building him up as the president, who's Donald Trump himself said on there. He said, the nation that you built is supposed to work for you. Donald Trump didn't even put himself, oh, look at what I did. He said, no, you're finally getting what you are supposed to get from the nation that you helped build. He didn't even put himself up. He just said, but listen, so whether it was Nancy Kerrigan or anybody, if they had done that, I would say, guys, we need to go for this person because this person, listen, I'm actually playing politics. Black folks is playing possum.
No, he's not. Brandon is playing favorites. He loves Donald Trump. He's just playing favorites, and he's trying to fool the people that he's just, you know, I'm just looking at the big picture and I'm just really analyzing it and put it through a black filter of what's gonna come out at the other end that's good for black people. He is not, and we're telling him that you are not. And he can't see it. He's in his own way and doesn't realize it.
Justification for it was some stupid legality.
So when we break the treaties, they shouldn't get mad. Supreme, thank you for the contribution. I appreciate it so much. Also, I'm a registered Democrat. That's because I just was too lazy to change my registration. So yeah, I'm not loyal to Democrats. I'm not loyal to Republicans. I'm loyal to black people. So whoever, right there, Yana B. See,
I think in his heart of hearts, yes, he is loyal to black people, right? He is. He's just misguided politically what's the right move for black people. Like I said before, how can you be with a party that draws a line in the sand that says we don't like black people, we want nothing to do with black people, versus a party that says, hey, look, we're for equal rights, we're for making sure that you get all the things you deserve, and they don't follow through on that promise that they say. Those two parties are totally different.
Our audience knows me better than you. Brandon is not pro nothing. Why do black people say that when a person talks sensitive? Stop. Right.
Yeah, the sense he's talking, you're talking is nonsense. That's what you're not talking any sense. So I don't know who the hell this person is. Again, it's probably a fan or anything like that. Probably as clueless as him. So yeah, this person really, I don't know who this is. They hold no weight intellectually at all.
Right. And I don't like that about you, black critic. You try to like use the Republican stance as a shaming tactic. And that's okay, but it doesn't really give a proper context to what's going on, bro.
Doing Republican shaming tactics. I'm telling him the truth of what it is. If the truth is coming from a Republican stance, oh well, yes, I'm going to use that. If the truth just comes from just the truth, that's what it is. But like I said before, he keeps coining me as a Democrat when I'm not really a Democrat. I'm more of an independent, and doing what he's supposed to do is basically go with a party who has your best interest. The Republicans don't put anything down for black people at all. Nothing. Like the Democratic Party, you have like a Cornel West, right? Who's fighting for black rights and things like that, right? Where is the Republican version of that? You better not say Candace Owens or Larry Elder, because Cornel West don't talk bad about black people. Candace Owens does and Larry Elder does.
To tell me you couldn't vote Republican if they were offering you everything you wanted.
And that's how I know you're not listening to me. And I'm keep reiterating saying the same thing.
No, listen. This is what I'm saying, bro. Listen. Yes, you keep saying you don't care about Republican or Democrat, you vote whatever, but then you shame me saying that I'm pro-Republican because I'm doing what you claim you're doing.
Because you have no smoke for Republicans. You just got smoke for Democrats.
I got smoke for Republicans too.
What did you do to say something negative about Republicans? I haven't heard anything yet.
Listen, well, I don't have to say anything about Republicans negative because we all, as black people, know that Republicans don't give a shit about.
We don't know you, and all you've been doing is glorifying Donald Trump and telling me to shut up because I'm saying bad things about Donald Trump. So no.
Honest.
But bro, like you said, I don't know you that well politically. So if you just saying it's the law of opposites. If you keep saying Democrats this, Democrats this, Democrats that, Democrats that, me, a person that don't know you, you're saying without saying that you're pro-Republican. That's why I'm more asking you than telling you.
Look, brother, what can I tell you about Republicans and black folks that you don't already know? Oh, Republicans is racist? You know that. Republicans don't give a shit about you. You already know that. Republicans that's like, dude, we already know they don't give a fuck.
Okay, now I know that you know. Okay, we're cool. We're straight. We can continue the conversation.
So, like, I'll give you an example. Like Donald Trump. People think Donald Trump is a Republican. Do you remember when Donald Trump said, if I ran for president, I would run as a Republican because Republicans are the dumbest party? Remember when Donald Trump said that?
Yeah, I remember he said if I shoot somebody on the street, people will still vote for me. He said that too.
And they probably...
And guess what happened? People still vote for him. Donald Trump could do no wrong.
Would. So listen to this. Okay, now we're pretending like we care about somebody getting shot on the street when our neighborhoods, people getting shot every day.
No. I'm talking about, that's what Trump said.
Okay, yes. So what I'm telling you is, do you think Trump is really a Democrat or Republican? Trump is
he's a businessman.
He's about money.
Yep,
Donald Trump has given more money to Democrats than Republican campaigns. Did you know that?
Yes, because both parties are crooked.
No,
both parties are crooked.
Because look, listen. Because when you do business and you want to make money, you have to put emotions to the side. So you gotta go with whoever's gonna help your business. So
exactly,
you could vote Democrat 100 years. But if the Republicans if the Democrats decide to turn on business the way the Democrats turned on the oil companies, well, then you got to go to the Republicans. And if the Republicans turn on you, then you got to go back to the Democrats. And
exactly.
That's what black people need to do. We need to stop voting Democrat just because, which is what we do, which is what you did, and we need to stand in the middle and say who's making the best offer and just go to that person. We don't got to vote for that person every 4 years. We could vote for them 1 year, one term.
I'm in the middle. He's not. He could say, go fuck Joe Biden and Obama, and I will not give a fuck. I will not sit here and defend him. But he's the one that's in the middle, defending Donald Trump.
And switch over. But Democrats will never respect you. Just like Joe Brown said, Democrats will never respect you unless you show them that you are willing to go to the other side. We haven't showed that yet, so that we're going to keep getting stuff like this right here, right, where they're giving other people money while telling us, man, I'm broke. You know how you got the homie who got...
I'm just going to end it right there pretty much with his analogies. You know, what he's saying is true, but he's not practicing it. And the question is, what have Republicans offered black people consistently? Not the party, one person. What have the Republicans offered black people consistently to put their leg up? This is the party that says black people, ignoring the fact that black people went through all these hardships and white people got the leg up, saying that black people are lazy and need to pull themselves up by their bootstraps. Name one person in the Republican Party that recognized that disparity and is going to want to help black people out. There is none. So why are we going to the Republican Party if they're not offering us nothing? So I'm just going to end it right here. Thank you very much for listening. Like I said, the brother is he's not a stupid dude. He's just a walking conundrum when it comes to politics, because he's pro-black, but politically he's anti-black in his way, and in his heart of hearts he thinks he's doing the right thing. That's what makes him so interesting. So thank you very much. Thanks for the wait. Please remember to like, share, subscribe, and thanks for listening.